Hello, this is Gray Hughes. I'm doing an update and a correction on the Hart case. Miss T. O'Neill made a comment on one of my videos, the last video in fact, and said, hey, maybe that father-in-law is actually Dana's father. And I was like, I don't know about that, but that is something that actually crossed my mind given how similar the stories were. But then when I saw that this call was made in November and the incident with the Dekalbs was August, I thought, well, how could that be the same? And I just went with the story. But now it turns out that they've actually put out an article that clarifies the situation. So let's take a look at it. All right, so this first part is part of the 911 call, and then it explains it, okay? The other night, a little girl jumped out of a second-story window on the roof and then down onto the ground and ran to my daughter. And this was like 2 in the morning, begging them to help her. The caller, Steve Furkovich, 80, told the Clark County dispatcher in the November 18 call. He told the dispatcher there were kids who he felt were being highly abused. The dispatcher relayed the call to Clark County Sheriff's Office, but after contacting Furkovich's daughter, Dana Dekalb, see, so Miss T. O'Neill was right. The dispatcher relayed the call to Clark County Sheriff's Office, but after contacting Furkovich's daughter, Dana Dekalb, who told them the incident had actually occurred in August and there had been no repeat occurrences, the Sheriff's Office decided against performing a welfare check on the home of Sarah and Jennifer Hart and their 6 adopted children, according to dispatch logs and audio obtained through a public records request. Okay, so what happened here was in November, Steve Furkovich was at the Dekalb's house, so November 18th probably, right? And after being told about the August story, he thought it was probably a recent story, and he felt so strongly about it that he called the dispatcher, okay, the 911 dispatch. And it turns out that what probably happened was that after the police called back, Dana probably said, yeah, but they came over and they explained it, and there's been no incidents since then. So the police said, okay, we'll just let it go. All right, so I feel like, Dana, if Dana and her husband had made a bigger deal when the police called back about the Furkovich's phone call, they, might have done something, okay? But it wasn't until March when Devonte was going over there asking for food that they realized, something really is going on here. And then they called 911, so, or they called CPS, so you can give them credit for that. Okay, so I apologize for making the error yesterday, but that's how the article read, and there has been a correction. So hats off to the father-in-law who actually had the courage and insight to actually make that call. Unfortunately, it fell on deaf ears, okay? All right, now an update that I wanted to make was we're actually hearing from the attorney of Devonte, Sierra, and Jeremiah's aunt, okay? Because the aunt actually wanted to have custody of those 3 children back when the parents lost the custody. Okay, so let me just read this. A Texas attorney who represented the biological aunt of Devonte Hart and 2 of his siblings in a custody case more than a decade ago said she believes the children never should have been placed with an adoptive family. Houston family law attorney Shonda Jones told ABC 13 in Houston that she realized this week after reading news reports that she once fought to keep Devonte 15, Sierra 15, and Jeremiah 14 with their aunt in Texas. Jones said drug use led to the children being removed from their parents and placed with their aunt. The aunt lost custody of the children because she allowed their mother to watch them while the aunt was at work, which violated a court stipulation according to Jones. Okay, and sometimes families have to do what they have to do to survive. I can kind of understand where CPS is saying, wow, so you left these 3 kids with the same mother that we have taken them from because of her drug use, and they probably thought that was irresponsible. Okay, but sometimes, you know, like, people have to make choices. Maybe, you know, she had a better understanding of the situation, and, you know, she still had custody of them, but the mother was allowed to babysit basically during the day. Although, you know, I can see both sides on that scenario, okay? But again, you know, so you have the CPS making a decision and then giving them to people that were much, much worse. Okay, and this is sort of a really common theme, to be honest with you. The aunt lost custody of the children because she allowed their mother to watch them while the aunt was at work, which violated a court stipulation according to Jones. She's having a very hard time, in my opinion, accepting what has happened, Jones said of the aunt, who wasn't identified by the TV station. I think she hears it, but doesn't want to believe it. So imagine how horrible that is for her. You know, she was going to have custody and then allowed the mother to babysit during the day while she worked, and she lost custody, and then they went to 2 barbarians instead. Okay. You know, probably 2 people at CPS was like, oh, these are great people. Oh, they're just so wonderful. All right. You made the wrong decision again, okay? All right. So those are the updates and the correction. I apologize for making that error, but that's how the article read. And another article did come out to clarify it because it was confusing. All right. So I'll keep you updated if there's anything else. I have received a couple emails with some new information, but maybe I'll lump that together with some other information. Hopefully we'll get some toxicology reports, things like that coming soon, and we can figure out what actually happened on that day on the edge of that cliff. Okay? So until next time, everybody out there, be safe.